On today's video, we will be making over 5 thrifted items. We will be using Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Wellington, aging wax, Wall Bouquet floral print from Whimsykel Paper, and some Gilded Etiquettes Transfers from Iron Orchid Designs. We're going to be making 4 projects out of that one sheet of paper and one bonus project at the end. I think you're going to love these projects. They turn out gorgeous. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Emily. I'm with J Bowen & Company. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am so happy that you clicked on this video. And if you've been here before, welcome back. First project that I will be making will be this gorgeous floral table. This is the project that I had in mind to use with this paper. This paper is called Wall of Flowers by Whimsykel. So I took this paper out. It's 21 inches by 29 inches. And the first thing that I did is I gave it a good spray with my water mister bottle. I love this water bottle because it gives it a fine mist on your paper, and you need to mist your paper to get out all of the wrinkles. So I had previously taken that wood round that I had purchased. I purchased it for $5 at a thrift store. I actually saw it one time, completely forgot to buy it, went back, and I was lucky because it was still there, and I purchased it. I had previously given it a coat of primer so that none of the paint that was underneath would show through. And now what I'm doing is I'm putting a layer of Mod Podge on the wood round. So once the Mod Podge is on the wood round, I'm then going to take the paper and I'm going to gently place it on the wood round. After it's on the wood round, I will then smooth it out to prevent any wrinkles, or as many wrinkles as I can, and just to make sure that it attaches or adheres to the wood round. At first, I always like to use my hands, but then after that, I go back with my brayer because it works great to smooth out the papers. Y'all, I have really fallen in love with these Whimsykel papers, and they have inspired me in so many different ways. So what I think I'm going to do going forward, probably not on every video, but probably on many videos, because I have so many just awesome designs that I carry in my stock, I'm probably going to do a Whimsykel paper, some kind of either put it on furniture, maybe on canvas, or whatever project that I decide to make would coordinate with the paper that I'm using. I have written down a ton of different ideas, and I can't wait to share them with y'all. What do you think about that? What do you think about me using a Whimsykel paper and then doing coordinating projects with the paper? So now I'm just using my brayer to go over this piece in order to remove any wrinkles that may still be in the paper. Now, with the nature of this decoupage paper, you may get some wrinkles. From experience, it's very important, though, that you spray your paper, that you mist your paper. Every time I forget to mist the paper, because even though I've done this a bunch of times, I repeatedly forget to mist the paper if I get in too big of a hurry. What can happen is you can have more wrinkles than if you do mist the paper. So remember to do that. Learn from my mistake. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking my little chippy brush and I'm just adding more decoupage medium on top of this paper. So you can see the little brush strokes that I like to use. You can make any kind of pattern that you like. I just prefer kind of short brush strokes that look kind of like I'm painting versus long brush strokes, because sometimes they can look a little bit streaky if you do see the pattern, and this is just what I prefer. So after you cover your piece with the decoupage, you then would need to let it dry. So on this particular piece, I thought that I would try to see if I could wrap the paper around the edge of the wood round. I ended up doing the first half of it off camera because I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work or not. So after it worked, I decided that I would show you. So what you're going to do is you're going to, once the top part dries, you'd want to turn it over, and then you would just add the Mod Podge around the edge and then gently press it onto the edge of the wood round, just like I'm doing here. Now, you will get some wrinkles this way. I don't think there's any way that you cannot get any wrinkles. Now, with that being said, you can try to minimize it by just gently rubbing it over with your fingers to try to rub the paper in. Although there were some wrinkles, you know, after I did this, it still looks really great. And so after you have it all placed on the wood round, you can then let that dry, and then you'll take out some sanding paper and you'll sand the edges so that it will tear it off, you know, in a nice clean straight line. Now then you have to go back, just like you do on the top, you have to go back and you have to add the decoupage medium again on top of the paper. Now what I could have done is I could have just stopped at the top. I could have sanded around the edges and then just painted the sides, but sometimes I think it looks neat when you continue the paper onto the edge of the table. So that's what I did in this case. And because it's just a small little accent table, I thought it would work fine. So I'm taking my scissors and I'm cutting off some of the excess paper. And then after I do that, I'm going to take my fine sanding paper and I'm going to sand the edges. Now you have to be careful because you don't want to accidentally scrape the top part of your paper because it will scrape the print off. I'm not going to bore you with removing all of that excess paper. So what I did next is I took out my Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Wellington, which is a gorgeous color. It is a dark gray with a green undertone. At least that's what it looks like to me. It is just a gorgeous color. It's a lot like ochre, if you are familiar with that color. So it's just a dark, very classy, dark gray, like I said, with the green undertone. But I think you will love this color. It just looks classy. It looks kind of like restoration hardware type paint. If you're looking to paint something, a piece of furniture or something, and you want it to look elegant and classic, I'd go with this color, or ochre is another good color as well. So what I did is I took out the paint and I took out one of my, I don't know if this is the correct way to say it, but it's Staalmeester Brushes. Y'all, I carry these brushes as well and I never advertise them. I don't really use them as much as I normally would, but I brought them all home because I needed to update my inventory, and I'll have them all on my website for you to check out. But these brushes are to die for. If you like painting with Fusion Mineral Paint, if you use these brushes, it steps it up like 100 notches. They are amazing. So what I did is after I brought these brushes home to update my inventory, I decided to keep me a set of each of the brushes. But they are just heavenly and they are worth every penny. And you can see how nice it goes on. But you should pick one up for yourself and just try because they are just amazing brushes. So now what I'm showing you is a pedestal for a table. I found this pedestal at a thrift store for just a few dollars, and when I saw the wood round, I knew that it would pair perfectly with the size of that pedestal. It's already painted gold, and I thought it would look perfect with this paper. Off camera, I added a coat of aging wax. So what do you think of this final project? If you like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I think you're really going to like how I use the excess paper in these next two projects. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up if you like this video. The next project is this floral box. It's a little box that I purchased at a thrift store. I believe I bought it for $2. Originally, it was wrapped up in this heavy-duty plastic wrap like it came from the craft store, but somehow on our trip to Thanksgiving. It came unwrapped, and actually someone must have dropped it, one of my kids, who knows, maybe my husband, because it had a little crack in it. And then it was coming apart just a little bit on the edges where it attached. But anyway, with all that being said, I decided to use some of the excess paper on the top of this box. The box is a little peculiar because the lid is broken up into 2/3 and it just comes off. I thought about adding a little latch or something or hinge, but I decided not to. So in my mind, I was going to make this little box for my daughter. She saw the table and she said it looks like a tea party, and I agree. It does look like a little tea party table. It's just adorable. It would be so cute, I think, in a little girl's room or as a little side table in someone's house that has, a cottage type theme. So what I'm doing on this wood is I'm just painting some of the primer. This is Rethunk Junk Power Primer. It's just in the color white, and then I'm just going to paint it and let it dry. The reason I painted it white is because it makes any paper pop a little bit more. So after it had dried completely, I took some of that leftover paper and I decided that it would look good like this. So, well, actually I was looking to see which way looked the best, and when I came up with it, I decided to cut it and then use some Decoupage Gel to decoupage it on top of this project. Now on this project, I decided that I wanted to paint the edges of the box where it rounded over instead of putting the decoupage paper on the sides, because it is a little bit harder to do what I did in the first project. If you're a beginner, I might recommend just edging it sanding it off on the edges, because that method is easier. So here I am lining it up to a way that I thought would look good, and then I'm just pressing it. And y'all, guess what? I realized I forgot to spray it, because like I told you before, maybe I didn't tell you in this video, but sometimes I forget to spray it and it causes a few more wrinkles. But you can always go back and spray it again. And then I'm just doing the same method that I did before. I'm rubbing it with my hands, and then I'm taking my brayer and I'm rubbing the paper down again. But I don't know if you noticed, but I kept the lid together. So after it dries completely, I'll then go back and cut that line so it'll become two separate parts. I'm now applying a top coat to the paper, and then I'll let this dry. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about Whimsykel Papers if you're not familiar with them. They are all 21 inches by 29 inches, the ones that I sell, and they come in a variety of different papers. So if you're not into florals, there are many other choices. Right now I have Christmas papers, Santas and snowmen and things like that, and they are just gorgeous. But there are also Western themed ones, horses, cows, there are cats and there are dogs, and there are abstract papers. They're bright and colorful, but there's also some really beautiful neutral ones as well. So if you like neutrals, or you like brights, or you like abstract or realistic, we have you covered on all different ones. I carry about 100 different papers, and you can find the papers as well as all the products and supplies that I've been showing you on my website. It's www.jbowenandcompany.com. So if you're interested in those, you can find my website and all the different supplies. They'll be linked in my description. So now I'm just taking the excess paper. It has already dried completely. You want to make sure that it has dried completely, or when you go to sand it off, it'll just kind of be all ooey and gooey and it'll mess it up. So it has to be dry. So now I'm just taking this sad looking piece of sandpaper that I've used on about a gazillion projects, and I'm sanding off the sides. So that's one thing about me that you might have noticed. I don't mind reusing things. I don't like to waste things. I'll use ugly sandpaper. I probably should make it look prettier for these videos. My paper always looks like a mess, but I'm just kind of a messy artist, and that's just how I am. My hands will be messy, so if you like clean and pristine, this might not be the place for you. But if you don't mind a little bit of mess or a lot of mess, stick around. I didn't have an X-Acto knife handy, but I believe this is called a rotary cutter. It's what you cut fabric with. I had it handy, and it has a very thin blade, so I thought this would be perfect to cut that little line there to break it apart. So you see that white rim right there? That's what I was talking about earlier when I was telling you that I was just going to paint that instead of taking the decoupage down the side. And that's the little area that was broken. It was broken like that in a few different areas. Not really broken, but just it had come apart. So off camera, I ended up fixing it with just some hot glue. Wood glue would probably be better, but the problem I was having is trying to get it clamped so it would stay, and I knew hot glue would clamp it, really quickly. So I took out my Wellington Fusion Mineral Paint again. I forgot to mention that the reason I'm using this color is because I thought it matched up perfectly with the background color of this paper. And my guess was right. It looked really good with it, or at least I think it looks really good with it. Now you could also use any other color that is in the paper, or a neutral would look good as well. So now I'm just painting the edges of it, and then I'm going to give the entire box a coat of paint. While I was painting this box, I thought that this box needed a little something extra. So I took out some of my gilded, I can't remember the name of this paper. It's not the Christmas gilded tinsel. It was the one from last release. And I'll put that up on the screen when I remember it or when I look it up. But I thought that that would look really cool on this box. So I found the perfect piece for the box. And then I just cut it, and then I placed it on there. Now, this is a little bit different than the transfers. It's a little bit harder for me than to put the transfers on, but it's not hard. So you're just going to take your little plastic tool that comes with all of your transfers, and you're just going to rub on the area that you're trying to release onto your paper until it comes off. So you're just going to rub it a little bit. I find it works better is if you rub and you lift as you rub, it will start coming off. This in person, you can see if it has come off or not, and if it hasn't, you just lay it back down and then just rub it again. After you have completed this, you just want to rub over it with your fingers or the backing of the paper just so it will burnish it into the box. Now afterwards, you can either put a top coat on there, or you can spray it with a matte acrylic, or you don't have to do anything, but just know that if you don't do anything, that transfer, the gold part would not be protected. Some of your transfer does not come off, just line it back up and then rub on it again. That happened to me and it's no big deal, you can fix it. I added a little bit of aging wax from Fusion Mineral Paint just to age it a little bit and give it a little bit more protection. So here is the final reveal of this project, and I have now made 2 projects out of that one paper. Stay tuned because I'm going to make 2 more projects and then a bonus project at the end. These 2 projects are very simple and they're very quick. So I sell a lot of frames in my antique booths, and I think they look really great when you put prints inside of them versus leaving them plain. So all I'm doing is I'm taking this gold frame and I'm cleaning up the frame, and then I'm measuring out a piece of this leftover paper, and then I'm just going to cut it out and put it right in the frame, and that's it. That's all you do. You just cut it out. You don't have to decoupage or anything else like that. You're just going to cut it out just like you were putting a photo or print in a frame. This cute little silver plated frame. I can't decide if I should clean it up, polish the silver or not. Usually I just leave the silver tarnished, and then if someone else wants to polish it, they can. But I think this makes a cute little project and it doesn't waste this gorgeous paper. Are you like me? Do you save all your little scraps? I think it comes from my grandmother and just the way I'm raised. I just think that you need to save things, not throw them away, and not be wasteful. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching these videos. All the views and likes and comments, they mean a lot to me. I love when you comment. A bunch of you now, you don't comment, you don't like my video. I wish you would like it. It's a lot of work to do these videos. They're a lot of fun, but they do take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So if you would hit that like button, that would really make a difference for me and my channel. And also, if you would subscribe, I think like 85% of you that watch these videos aren't subscribed. So I'm talking to you. Hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out the next projects, because I have a lot of really fun and cool projects ahead. Anyway, here are those frames, and now they're with the box and the table. I just thought it would be fun to showcase all of the projects that I've made so far together so you could see how they all look. Which one of these projects so far is your favorite? Is the table, the little box, or the framed art? Let me know in the comments. The next project is this engraved wooden shelf. I had it at my booth for a while and it didn't sell, so I thought that I would bring it home and give it a paint job. It wasn't terrible as is, but the stain on it looked a little bit dated, or a lot dated in my opinion, and not dated in a good way. So I brought it home, I scuff sanded it, and while my paint brush still had that Wellington on it, I decided to give it a coat, actually 2 coats of that Wellington paint. If you're still watching, leave me a flower emoji so I know that you saw this bonus project. And now for the final reveal. I love how Fusion Mineral Paint leaves a professional finish. What do you think about the final reveal? Which one of these projects was your favorite? Was it the round table? Was it the little box, the wooden box, the 2 framed pieces of art, or was it the shelf? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear your feedback. I love when you give me comments. It's probably the most fun part of this, besides making the projects, is interacting with you. So leave me a comment and I promise that I'll get back to you. If you'd like to see my latest video, Cozy Winter Thrift Flips, go to the comments and click on the link below. And thanks again for watching.